Good afternoon. My name is Tarina Gant, and today I'm going to be presenting to you faculty members from Southside Middle School regarding an action research plan that I've developed as a basis from my IL 504 action research class. In this class, graduate students are asked to identify a problem within their school and come up with a proposal to solve the problems that are occurring within that school system. As all of you in this room are aware, we at Southside Middle School had a SOAR behavior management program, and it had been in effect for 5 years. I looked at this program based on some input that I received from other teachers. What I determined based on data from iNow from a 5-year period is that initially the SOAR behavior management program was effective. In the first 2 years of implementation, there was a 15% decrease in the number of office referrals. However, and this is based from teachers and what they've said as well, after that 2-year period, there was a significant increase in office referrals. As a matter of fact, I was shocked to find out that there was a 55% increase in office referrals in year 3, 4, and 5 of implementation. Teachers also indicated, as you can see, that there was more a need for more immediate consequences for students' behavior within the classroom, and also that we needed a more effective means of communicating with teachers. So, taking this information, I came up with a hypothesis to implement a new behavior program or revise the behavior program that we currently have at Southside Middle School. As you can see, the hypothesis for this action research plan states that the implementation of a positive behavior intervention and supports program that includes published behavioral expectations, a 3-strike consequence policy, a system that rewards positive behavior and achievements, and a communication system that sends immediate alerts to parents when a behavior form is reported will result in fewer office discipline referrals and will increase communication with parents. There are some definitions that are important relative to the research that I've conducted, but I've provided each of you with a copy of those definitions within the packet that you have received to avoid having to go over each of those. First, I'm going to talk a little bit about the literature review. I looked at several peer-reviewed scholarly journals to come up with different behavior management programs that were currently being researched or in place. The first of those is a zero tolerance policy. Zero tolerance policies were started in the 1990s. Based on a Gun-Free Schools Act. Initially, these programs were started to deter students from bringing weapons to school. However, unfortunately, these programs since that time have been expanded and include all types of things. You would probably be surprised to see that a lot of zero tolerance policies include things like cursing, they include fighting, they include a number of offenses. And of course, with it being a zero tolerance policy, that means that those students who commit those offenses are suspended. The American Academy of Pediatrics and American Psychology Association have issued statements effectively condemning zero tolerance policies. Many state departments of education are also moving away from zero tolerance policies, simply because there's been a lot of research that shows that one suspension for a child in middle or high school leads to a much greater dropout rate for those children. So zero tolerance policies have been and are being moved away from. The second type of behavior modification program that I found was the Saturday Work Adjustment Plan, and this plan was developed as a result of the number of suspensions that were occurring. And with this program, students exchange their behavior for work time at school. That work time being offered on Saturday mornings with faculty members from that school. There are some positive and negatives to that. Obviously, if they're exchanging the behavior for the work time, then those students are in class. They're not missing class. However, the payoff or the downside to that is that it has to be closely monitored by someone within the school system. The third is a point system approach that is very, very similar to what we had as the SOAR plan, where there's an exchange in points for behavior, both positively and negatively. Positive behaviors result in addition of points, and negative behaviors result in subtraction of points. And then finally, there is a 3-tiered school-wide positive behavior support program. And this is the one that I'm going to focus on within the Action Research Plan. It is a 3-tier program, very similar to RTI. The guiding principles of a school-wide positive behavior support program focus on prevention of behavioral problems, continuous support for all students, real application in natural school settings, consistent improvement based on collected data, and systematic organizational change. So let's look now at the action plan that I'm proposing for Southside Middle School in a revision of the school-wide positive behavior support plan. This is a multi-phase plan. It actually has 3 phases. The first phase would begin implementation between October and December of this year. Within this time frame, there would be the formation of a data team. We would create a Google form which would be used school-wide to record offenses, to record negative behaviors, so that there is a data collection method. That method would be visible by not only team members, but administrative personnel as well. It would be a good reference tool and would also offer us an opportunity as administrators and teachers to collect data, to desegregate the data, to determine what our base behaviors are, what our normal behaviors are, and those students that are exceeding those normal behaviors. Phase 2 of this program would begin in January, where the first part of the program would be teaching expected behavior objectives. As a data team, we would need to come up with 3 school-wide behavior objectives. Things like be respectful, be on time, etc. Those would be taught and embedded in our curriculum on a daily basis. We would have monthly data team meetings, walkthrough evaluations, and professional development to help teachers understand how to implement the plan and to encourage better classroom management. These interventions would be Tier 1 interventions. Tier 1 interventions include what we're already doing in the class. They include those behaviors that are normal for a regular classroom. At that point in time, at the end of the first year, at the end of May, in this school year, we would then be able to take the data that has been collected from all of our teachers to determine some base norms, to compare what our office referrals are from this time period as opposed to a previous time period, to see if there's been any reduction, and to identify some areas that we need to work on. Following that, the next school year, we would begin implementation of Tier 2 and Tier 3. So we would be fully implementing the program beginning in August of 2015 and 2016. Are there any questions about the program or about this action plan from anyone? If not, thank you so much for attending. I look forward to working with each of you through this process.